Welcome to the Industry Insider, brought to you by PromoCorner. Each week, promotional product professionals Meg Erber, Jeff Franklin, and Stephen McFadden, along with special guests, will discuss industry news, trends, and events with a focus on educating the promotional products industry. The Industry Insider, the nerdy news you need to know.
Welcome back to yet another exciting episode of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast, where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA, and I am joined today by three other lovely folks, some with hands in the cameras and others not. So we are excited. Look, phones are propped up on things, and it's going to be a fun episode. But look, why don't we say hi to Stephen McFadden? How are you doing?
Oh man, that's a loaded question.
We don't have enough time for this.
Is the back any better? Is the back any better? Are you healing?
Yeah. So I healed from the bike accident I had. I don't know if I ever told you guys that on air or not, but I have an awesome video I can send you where I flip over the front of my handlebars after going over a ramp.
I'm gonna need that, and I'm gonna make a TikTok video out of it.
Okay, I will do that.
Awesome.
I have both my charity events this Saturday. I'm in the middle of a move. I don't have internet. I'm running on caffeine, hopes, and dreams, and living life to the fullest. So
awesome. Meg Erber, how are you doing?
Awesome. That was your response to all that?
Look, I'm very distracted right now. Our guest cannot hear us for some reason. So that's why she's holding up the little paper there, letting us know. Meg, how are you?
I don't even know what's going on. This internet thing is just, this sucks. I'm sorry, Shannon. We'll sign to you. What? Yeah. I don't even know. Okay.
But holding the sign up is it making it better? All right. Well, look, this awesome broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at PPAI Expo. So why don't we just play that ad read, and hopefully we can get some of these technical difficulties out of the way.
Are you looking for ways to make your business more successful in 2023? The PPAI Expo is the best place to find the connections you need to make that happen. On top of networking while on the show floor, you have the opportunity to attend targeted networking events designed to meet your specific needs. These events and experiences include the Chairs Leadership Dinner, Women's Leadership Conference Social, Spark Networking Reception, Technology Leaders Networking Event, and Promopalooza, the PPAI Expo Party. Find your people and grow your network at the PPAI Expo in 2023. See the full schedule of events at ppai.org/expo. Limited spots are available for each event, so be sure to register today.
All right. Well, look, I don't know if Shannon can hear us yet. Hopefully she can. Doesn't look like it. All right, look, we're just going to give you guys a quick rundown of how these episodes go, because we typically have our guests come in about 15 minutes beforehand to try to iron out all of these technical difficulties.
And she did.
And I swear it doesn't help, because as soon as you hit live, something goes wrong. So I don't know if we're going to have Shannon on today.
Yeah, she's going to go get some headphones and come back. But I actually wanted to talk to you really quick, because a few weeks ago, I became a We Defy ambassador. And I don't know if you guys know what that is or not, but it's a group of individuals that they put together some tournaments, jiu-jitsu tournaments for military veterans. So they raise the money through these tournaments and other fundraisers to be able to provide free jiu-jitsu for veterans, and it helps with like PTSD and all kinds of stuff. So they sent me a really cool T-shirt. I was like, that's the 6210, isn't it? And then I looked at the fabrication and I was right. And I thought it was cool because, when you're in promo and you get promo from somebody else that you didn't somehow generate, it's kind of cool. And I got a cool patch for my gi and a sticker. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I wanted to give them a shout out because, it's all run by volunteers and it's all for a good cause. So if you see somebody wearing a We Defy shirt, they're good people. So.
Do you go by the name the Terminator Erber?
I don't. Nobody calls me that.
Erber.
Oh, that's
Erber. Hey, holy cow! We got some southern drawl up in this joint. Shannon Loredo, how are you?
I'm great now that I can hear everybody. No one told me I needed headphones.
Well, you didn't before. That's what I was saying. So I gave everybody a quick rundown of like what happens before the show. We bring the special guest in for 15 minutes beforehand to go over any technical difficulties and get everything sorted out so that when you hit live, things are smooth. But I'm telling you, as soon as you hit live, something
that went well. It went very well.
Yeah, for sure. So, look, I'm glad that we've got you. Since you're on, let's take advantage of the time that we have. Shannon, it is customary for us to give our special guest a good 3 to 4 minutes to introduce yourselves, maybe how you got started in the promotional products industry and what the hell you've been up to since. So why don't you take it away?
That's a long story, but I'm going to try to shorten it since we wasted a bunch of time there. I started in 1995, way back in 1995, and I worked for a promotional product company called High Profile. And at that time, I was going to school at the University of Houston and had 3 jobs. And one of them was kind of her Girl Friday, going through the call list. That's what we called it back then, where you would call each supplier and say, hey, what's the ship date on this? Like you would physically pull an order and call and write it down. And so I was doing that for her and then cleaning the office building that was her building and also her husband's building, which was a chemical manufacturing plant. And I would clean the office building in the evening. And I was also a receptionist at West Houston Infinity, a car dealership. And I had all those jobs and was going to school full time at the University of Houston. And one day she asked me, if I would, what it would take for me to quit all my jobs and come to work for her. And so she made me an offer. And from there, I worked every position within the company up until office manager. And then from there, I kind of tapped out as far as, pay grade. So the next step was to go into sales. And so that's what I did. And then she eventually sold the business to a company called Bluegrass, which I think is now Activate or something else. And then I stayed there for about a year and then moved to a company called Corporate Images. And then Corporate Images was sold to a company called Fontus. And Fontus was then sold to Deluxe/Safeguard. And so when that happened, I decided to take my career into my own hands and have control over what was going on instead of waking up to another email that we had been sold. And I talked to my assistant at that time, and she and I became business partners and started Business Branders. We went live January 2016 and just had our record year, our best year ever. And so we're very grateful for that. So that's awesome. A lowdown on me.
Now, Meg, we can't hear you. Did you mute yourself on the back end? What is going on?
Damn it.
This is the best podcast ever.
I was chewing ice because I was out of water and I didn't want to chew in your ear. But I was saying congratulations. That's all. I know. I'm done. It's almost the end of the year. Christmas itis.
I know, this is so rough. When Meg originally asked me to be on, I said, well, let's do it. I picked this week because I also serve on the board of HPPA, and we had our last event last week. So I was like, business should be slower. It's going to be great. No, y'all, I've been working on rush orders all morning, and then my daughter's doing finals, and I was like, oh, it's a mess. And then we had all these issues, but I'm glad to be on.
I would argue, I was actually thinking about this on my drive in today. I was like, I think 2 weeks before Christmas might be one of the craziest times in the industry because it's like things that they need before the end of the year, but before they take off from vacation to get into the fiscal, or, it's like there's this weird dynamic where next week they'll probably all be out, or the week right after Christmas they might all be out. But this is the 1 week that they're back, and this is a very, very crazy week in the industry, I think.
It is, and a lot of people have those. What we're dealing with this morning is bill me now. I don't care when I get it, but I need to be billed right now
Yep.
for this.
Perfect.
Use it or lose it.
So-
Those are the best.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
So the reason you had me on here today was to talk about health and fitness and how I think I need to tell a little backstory of how that fits into me being on here. During the pandemic in 2020, when things were not so good for all of us, there was a little bit of that, oh crap, customers are calling, canceling orders every single second. Customers were getting laid off. I mean, it was just rough. And it was like, well, I need to have a backup plan here. And so my passion has always been health. And so I took the downtime, not only to get my MAS, through our industry, because I finally had time to do that, but I also took some time to invest into my health and wellness business, what I wanted, like it's a passion of mine, a long-term goal. And so I got certified as a health and wellness instructor. And so that just kind of, but then business started coming back and I didn't have time for that, but it's still a long-term goal of mine and passion. So.
Very cool. Shannon, so you said you got your certification through PPAI?
I did. I got my MAS during the downtime we had. It's something I always, I had been in the industry for so long, but it was something people would ask me, well, are you certified? Well, no, I just never had the time to do it. So I took that time during the pandemic, and I'm glad that I did it. And Marianne, my business partner, she also did it as well.
Well, it didn't hurt. The PPAI made it free for everybody during that year as well. That was awesome. I actually took advantage of that as well and got my my MAS from the CAS as well. But Shannon, I noticed that you don't have the three initials after your name. You got to put that in there because those of us that are on the podcast that are actually certified, we use those letters after the name on this podcast.
I think that was a dig at me.
Nice.
So in my spare time, talking about spare time, it's the end of December and I haven't even had my true vacation yet because I worked through my vacation this year. So after today, I'm on vacation.
Stephen, do you want to call her on that now? Because I feel like every other podcast she's recording from like a loft in somewhere,
Oh, sorry guys,
I was house hunting and working at the same time.
I do recall multiple podcasts being like, I technically am on vacation, but I can still, and then proceeds to broadcast from there. So I think we interrupted some of them, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But I do agree. While we're talking about relaxing and vacation, Stephen, you look way too relaxed on that couch. I don't know that the new podcast setup is going to be good for us. The content.
It looks very fancy.
We're so formal. I figured, the next setup should be big red leather, chair and a very focused background. I'll have to figure out what I want to do here, though.
Is that a chalkboard?
No, it's black.
It's just a black wall.
I think a big Industry Insider logo would look awesome up there.
Your faces as like fat heads.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I'd look into that. I have a coupon. So Shannon, quick. I just wanted to. So when I was looking for people to bring onto the show, I immediately thought of Shannon because you're very upbeat, you're very positive, and then when we were talking about topics, you are so routine, and I love it, and you're such an inspiration. Tell us a little bit more about that. Does that go into all of your diet and fitness, or is that just part of and when you're dieting, it's just not your body, it's your mind and your soul too. So kind of dig into that. We want to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I would say kind of talking about when people discuss, getting into health and fitness with me, one of their top objection is always time. They're like, well, I don't have time to exercise. And the key is making that time. You have to take the time for yourself. We are, in the world we live in, we're constantly giving of ourselves to others. The minute you wake up, your kids, your wife, your husband, all the other things that we're involved in our industry. And we have all of these balls in the air, but you have to take time for yourself, and you have to make that appointment with yourself and keep it and figure out where you can in and make it a habit to do it. For me, I wake up at 4:00 every single morning, and I like that alone time. I heard someone gasp, but I like that alone time that I have before my house wakes up, and it gives me the time for myself to meditate, to read my journal, and to go either run or work out.
So Shannon, do you go to bed at like 8 p.m. then? Are you one of those?
So I try to be asleep by 9. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know.
And that is the other thing too. People forget how important sleep is. I mean, you really need to try to get 7 hours of sleep. There was a time in my life where, I was running, it was for years and years, on 4 to 6 hours of sleep. And I was sick all the time. Like if someone sneezed in my direction, I would end up with it, and I haven't been sick in years because I prioritized, my sleep. It helps so much.
No, I agree. And there was a while ago, I think it was I can't remember. Remember when Tim and his wife started that coffee talk, and we had them on the podcast? So I used to listen to that every morning, and it was very inspiring, and it became part of my routine. And then I was inspired by the people on there that were like, getting up earlier and meditating, or just giving yourself that extra time. And I think, Shannon, mostly your stories, and I actually started doing that, getting up a little bit earlier. I'll try to go to the gym. Usually my joints aren't working in the morning to be able to work out. They're just not. I'm so stiff. So I do get up. I have my coffee. I scroll my TikTok and play my Candy Crush, and I can do it without any interruptions. And that's my me time. And then I was like, I like this. But then they started getting up earlier and crashing my me time. So then I gave up and went back to sleeping in. But I do like it.
Yeah, it helps a lot, and then the other thing is finding some sort of exercise that you do like, because that's the other thing I get kicked back on. People are like, there's nothing that I like. And, something that is just so underappreciated and utilized is just simply walking. Really, just walking, and aim for 7,000 steps. 10,000 steps is better, but just in getting outside, and just being in nature and walking around, it will elevate your mood and everything.
This is completely not on topic, but it is. So I'm in a group with people where we share our workouts and rings with each other for the Apple Watch. Yeah.
Add me.
Okay, but here's the debate that I have, Shannon, and I need your input on this. Some of them will record their walks as workouts, but it also counts your steps. So I'm like, which is it? You either get the steps, but you can't count walking as the workout. If it's
you
also
can though.
But
I think
isn't that double dipping?
I feel like, in this day and age where we are all so busy, you take the little wins. And if that's all you can manage to do that day, then that absolutely counts.
So Shannon, you actually mentioned something that stuck with me from something I learned in college, where I was trying to figure out a good routine for myself. And there was somebody up there talking about finding what your workout is and your exercise. And he was saying, if you ask most people, they say they don't like exercise just in general. Yeah. But if you ask them about specific things, like, do you like playing basketball? Do you like playing softball or these activities? They're like, oh, I love that. We'll be like, well, that's exercise in disguise. So it's like training your brain to do more of the activities you love, which happens to be exercise, which makes it easier to add into your routine and stuff, which I thought was really cool, because I'm always like, all right, let me try to find time to go play a sport, not to exercise, right? Kind of a mental exercise there, but it's been very helpful for me.
Yeah, one of my local performer friends, he wakes up and plays basketball every day, really early, and I mean that absolutely counts.
So I won't lie. I'm really envious of the people that have the discipline to do what you're doing, Shannon, as far as getting up that early and constantly sticking to it. Whether you're traveling on the road, you're, at the trade shows, you're, whatever the situation is, you still find that time to get in that workout. I will tell you the issue that I have had. I used to work out. I used to do 2-a-days. I'd go in the morning before work, and then I would do lunchtime as well. I would take a break during work when I was a distributor, and I would go to the gym that was a block away, and I was doing 2-a-days, and I was in really, really good shape. And then I had kids, and
that took a toll on your body.
Having 2 kids to carry them for 9 months was a struggle. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Look,
How was your sciatica from that?
All the companion eating that I had to do, man, let me tell you, it was tough. But here's my deal, okay? I can't work out in the evening because then I can't sleep. So when I work out, I have to do it in the morning. And now because I've got the kids and they've got to get to school in the morning, and you've got all the morning routine, and plus it's freaking 22 degrees outside in the mornings right now. I just refuse to do it that early in the morning. I can't. Help me. How do I do this, Shannon?
Go to bed at 7.
You have to want it badly enough, honestly. Yeah, same. I used to do the 2-a-days. I'm at a point in my life where I no longer care to do that. And the same thing, what I found is if I work out in the evenings, it keeps me up and I have trouble winding down. So for me, I just have to get up. You just have to get up earlier, Jeff.
That's a tall task. But look, we are talking about, fitness and, your daily fitness, what you're doing and how it contributes to your success. And, it's obviously timely because, we're coming up on New Year's, like you had mentioned before we went live. And, because people were starting their New Year's resolutions and things like that. So I think it's a great episode. But how do you think that your physical fitness really plays into your success in the office?
Well, your success period. If you look at most successful people, they are usually fit and they prioritize their health and wellness. Taking the time to invest in yourself and to be regimented, and like you said, the commitment that it takes, that builds so much confidence. It requires saying no a lot. Going to these events and not drinking. Saying no, going to bed when everyone's going to the clubs in Vegas, that requires a lot of discipline, and the confidence that brings just by being committed to yourself, it just radiates in, when you go on, make your presentations to your clients, just everywhere. People feed off of the energy and they can feel that. And I mean, it just gives you so much confidence. And I would say confidence, number one, is the biggest player in how it helps in your success.
Can we not log those dances at the clubs as exercise?
You definitely can.
Steps and it's showing up. I think
what's the best is when you're in Vegas and all of a sudden you have steps for tomorrow morning already.
I was about to say, if you don't sleep, you're already ahead of everybody else. So
I have multiple times woken up in Vegas with my rings completed. Think about that.
That is a win. I mean, I'm not advocating that. You might be a little low on the sleep end of it. And you come home sick for Vegas. But other than that, it would be great.
Shannon, are you going to PPAI in January?
I am. And so my strategy has been in the past more recent years, in my older years, is I go and I don't drink except for the very last night of Vegas. And then I will allow myself to let loose a little bit. But my body can't handle the hangovers. I mean, like if I hit that third drink, I'm going to feel like shit the next day. So for me, I have to, if I want to get the most out of the show, I need to just stay the course, and then I'll hang out with everybody the last night.
So Shannon, since you brought up this shadowed past of ours called COVID, I'll bring it back
Yeah.
into the fold here. I think I'm probably not alone here, but I drank my way through COVID. And no, seriously, I would have at least one drink every day in the evening, just to take the stress off. That was sort of my way of coping. And look, since I actually I hardly ever drink now, and when I do, it's definitely not a binge at all. Since that, I've noticed that I've actually dropped quite a few pounds just from doing that. So it's amazing. Like, you can make just small changes to what you're intaking and things like that, and those can
people don't realize when people come to me for my help with weight loss, I have them start. I don't just automatically put them on a diet. I want them to take a week and log for me everything that they're actually ingesting, including all their, drinks that they may have in the evening, because that is so eye-opening for people when they actually see it, because so many people don't realize and they think, if you have like vodka and soda, that it's so low calorie, and it is, but it still has calories, and most people aren't even measuring the amount of alcohol that they're putting in there. So it's incredibly eye-opening. When I first started dating, I didn't realize, I guess because I don't drink on the daily basis, I didn't realize how many people actually, it's normal. So many people do. And so if you just cut that out, also your sleep will be better too.
I was going to ask you, what are some tips, if you had to lay it out, if we were with some of your customers, what are just some tips that we should, like, lifestyle changes that we would see like immediate differences? Like you said, cutting out the alcohol, cutting out, like soda. What are some tips that you give?
So definitely lay off the booze. Think about the liquid drinks, even like the Starbucks drinks and all of that. Like, a lot of people don't realize how much is actually in those, depending on what they're drinking. So to really think about it, I'd personally rather eat my calories than drink them. But prioritize protein 100%. Start your mornings with at least 25 grams of protein. Protein keeps you fuller longer. If you're, whatever your goal weight is, you should be eating that number in grams of protein. So say your goal weight is 150 pounds, you would want to ideally try to be consuming about 150 grams of protein per day. And that's the only macro I tell people to focus on, because that's the one that is going to benefit you the most with weight loss and also with muscle gain.
So nutrition wise, because I think eating is a big factor in your overall health and fitness. One of the things that immigrants, when they first come over to the States, one of the first things they talk about is our food system and how terrible the food is here in the States. Like, what do you recommend, like, looking out for? Like, how do you eat right in the United States?
One of the biggest things that what I tell people too is to just cut out the grazing. So I feel like during the pandemic, since we did talk about that, a lot of people gained, the COVID-15 or the COVID-20 because
it was the COVID-19, Shannon. Let's get it right.
It was the 19. Okay. Because they were eating more. They were working from home sitting here at their computer and just snacking all day. So I tell people not to snack at their desk, to make it sit down at your kitchen table when you're eating, even if it's a snack. It helps because it helps you be mindful about what you're eating and why you're eating. And you're not just, sitting on the couch watching a TV show and just shoving chips down your throat. I feel like, in other countries, their snacking is, it's not a bag of chips. They'll have some cheeses and olives and things like that laid out. So just to be mindful about what you're eating, for sure.
Another thing that you can do is, because I don't think your body really disseminates the difference between hunger and thirst very well. And so a lot of people will continue to eat because they're actually thirsty. So one suggestion that I would make is to drink like a full glass of water before every meal.
Yeah.
And just drink plenty of water, because you'd be surprised at how much, how many people, like the highest percentage of people are actually undernourished when it comes to the amount of water that they're intaking.
I would say
for
that
sure. Most people don't drink enough.
Yeah, they don't. And I think it being in the promotional product industry, and we talked about, how to lead the sales charge with headwear and drinkware. This is a really good opportunity to really lead the sales charge with a nice drinkware piece, something that's vacuum sealed. I got this as a gift probably 2-3 years ago from SNS. I still use it every day. I fill it up. I don't even know where it came from, but it keeps my ice cold. This is ice from last night still. But it gives you that opportunity. You give away a nice piece. You're not giving away junk that's going to end up in the dishwasher, that's going to bend in one wash, but something that they can reuse. You're going to get that ROI on your logo. I know we're talking about promotional products again, but it's all about elevating the promotional products industry. And then you're going to get your water intake. It's like it's a whole tenfold, but it's all I drink is water and coffee. And
here I am with a plastic bottle. But yes.
Shame.
my branded ones are up there.
I have one last question for Shannon. I'm sure it's what everybody is dying to know. Everybody that follows Shannon.
Oh God.
Oh, I know. Shannon is very transparent. That's what I love about her. She's the most authentic person. She's absolutely amazing. She has actually recently put her dating life on social media.
I've seen a few of these posts.
So what is the latest status of George Strait, Mr. George Strait?
George Strait took me to Maui.
It's not real George Strait. We call him George Strait.
No, I found out he drank a lot more than I said I would like in my life.
I'm sorry.
So for that reason, there's no more George Strait. We'll probably remain friends. I've honestly known him a long time. But as far as I'm hanging up that dating hat, he'll basically have to, whoever it will be is going to have to come knock on my door because I'm done for a while. That was a job in itself, and I don't have time for that.
Yeah, no, and you know what though, someone when you work on yourself, those people come to you, and you got a beautiful soul, girlfriend. So the right person is out there, and you don't need to settle. That's for sure. And I think you know that. So
you found out that he drank too much while you guys were on vacation?
Yeah. So I even have it.
That's not fair, Shannon. That's not fair. Look, when you're on vacation.
So Jeff. No, okay. So I know. So I talked to several of my friends, and they said, well, when you're on vacation, you drink more than you normally would. And I said, that's valid. However, and he drank an entire, it had a handle on it, like an entire big old jug of vodka, of Tito's, we were there for 5 days, y'all. That's too much, right? That's overkill.
You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. And honestly, if you're not drinking, you're not okay? So
I need to be more fun. I'm a buzzkill.
Going through a handle of vodka in a week isn't that big of a deal when you're on vacation. That's all I'll say.
And it just made me, and he didn't have hangovers, and it made me think that this is probably more of the norm for him than anything else.
I'd be dead. I would be dead.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen,
exactly.
There. Do you have anything to add, sir, before we leave?
If I'm being honest, I have nothing to add to this conversation. I don't. I mean, there are signs, there are warning signs, and I can understand what she's saying. But honestly, there's deeper things I think that have to come into to play when choosing someone.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
Amelia
yes,
Model,
but
I knew we were cut from the same cloth.
But I am curious about one thing.
Yeah.
Since it's about nutrition stuff, what did everybody have for breakfast today as we close out?
I
just had a Crunch bar
with peanut butter. So I did put peanut butter, so I got my protein. But I usually don't eat breakfast, and it's terrible. And I need to.
No, it's not. It's not terrible. I never eat breakfast.
I try. I can't physically. It just makes me.
Yeah. And you know what? Not everyone's a breakfast person. I've heard people say, "Well, you have to eat breakfast." You don't. Just eat when you're hungry. And if you're a person who doesn't like to eat, like Josh Pospisil, he doesn't eat breakfast. He doesn't eat till like 11 o'clock. I would be dead. I have to, since I wake up at 4, I have to eat by 6.
Okay. Yeah, the one I do wake up
But if
earlier.
you wake
I'm
up at
eating
4, is
early.
breakfast still the same window as everybody else's? I feel like you're already eating lunch at 6 a.m.
That's like Waffle
So,
House food time.
so lunchtime for me is like around 10 typically. I haven't eaten, so I'm sitting here like I'm starving.
She's like, ah.
Fair enough.
This is going to bring up the age-old debate: is breakfast a food or a time of day? Which
Well,
I
breakfast
don't-
is my favorite food. It's all the
It is.
favorites are breakfast. I just can't eat it in the morning. So it's a food.
Actually, the only time I eat breakfast is when I'm on vacation, especially if I'm at like an all-inclusive resort or something where I don't have
Oh,
to
yeah.
cook it because
Yeah,
it's
that's
easy.
always
You just show up and they
best.
give you food. I mean, it's
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah, and they usually
but
have all the fruit and stuff.
outside of that, I was doing intermittent fasting before intermittent fasting was a thing. And I still do it. It's just not like I don't call it intermittent fasting. I just don't eat breakfast. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what it is.
A lot of people are like that, and it's just you have to do whatever works for your body, for sure.
Yep. All right, guys. Any other follow-up questions for Shannon, or should we get out of here and go contemplate what our New Year's resolutions are going to be?
Yeah. Well, do you guys have New Year's resolutions before we wrap it up? Do you guys
Seeing
have one
that it's
yet?
not the New Year's, no.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not
I
yet
got 2
either.
more weeks to think about it, Meg. Right?
Yeah.
Don't rush me.
All
Don't
right.
rush me.
I will. We have a really good episode coming up next week too. We're gonna have our holiday unboxing, and we're gonna have Laurie on, and we're gonna do trivia, and you're gonna get to see what I got the guys, and vice versa. So I'm looking forward to it next week. Again, that's like my favorite episode. It's always a lot of fun.
See, Rich Graham knows
Awesome.
what's up. Mimosas at breakfast on vacay are the bomb. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. That's all I'm saying. So, all right. Well, look, I had fun this episode. I think it was great. Shannon, thank you so much for coming on and enlightening us with the wealth of knowledge that you have with the fitness and nutrition side of things, and hopefully we can all make some good resolutions and help just get the show on the road the right way, and hopefully contribute to our overall success as well. So. Look, this episode was brought to you by our good friends over at PPAI Expo, which is just around the corner. If you haven't signed up yet, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. It's going to be the best, going to be awesome. And of course, we're going to be there. So check it out.
Are you looking for ways to make your business more successful in 2023? The PPAI Expo is the best place to find the connections you need to make that happen. On top of networking while on the show floor, you have the opportunity to attend targeted networking events designed to meet your specific needs. These events and experiences include the Chairs Leadership Dinner, Women's Leadership Conference Social, Spark Networking Reception, Technology Leaders Networking Event, and Promopalooza, the PPAI Expo Party. Find your people and grow your network at the PPAI Expo in 2023. See the full schedule of events at ppai.org/expo. Limited spots are available for each event, so be sure to register today.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.